Okay, so today is Wednesday, August 16th, 2023. This, of course, is the Stronghold Digital Mining daily update. Haven't really talked a whole lot about our stock price lately. That being said, today was a down day in the market. It looks like we closed at about $6.09 a share. We are up in after hours trading, which is nice to see. But I'll tell you something, it looks as if though we are not alone, right? The entire practically the entire publicly traded Bitcoin mining sector traded down today and has been trading down over the past several trading sessions. Now, something that I'm putting together ideally for tomorrow's update is, I think, a better way of kind of figuring out how is it, like, what kind of Bitcoin price would it require for us to be breaking even? I know that's a question that kind of came up on Twitter or X as it's called. The price of Bitcoin by itself is actually a very, I think, unhelpful number by itself, right? Because the network hash rate really has a lot to do with overall Bitcoin miner profitability, so to speak, right? I mean, it really helps dictate the hash price, which in turn dictates what kind of revenue a Bitcoin mining company can be, can have the potential essentially to achieve. So I'm working through some math, and again, yesterday's update was quite lengthy, and we kind of got into a lot of detail. So today's update is going to be a bit shorter, but the goal is to really come up with a hash price now that will reflect based on Q2 2023 numbers, which I actually have up right now, and I've kind of been doing some of the computations to really kind of come up with a number. Hey, what kind of hash price would we need to see for us to kind of be, as Stronghold Digital Mining, kind of like at a break-even point? And we'll get into the details of what I mean by break-even, okay? And I think that's going to be a really healthy and useful number to be able to kind of like have in our minds as we observe the hash price on any given day. The price of Bitcoin is important from a psychological perspective, right? That's the number that gets talked about. It's like the headline number. Whenever you see, right, on maybe the news, hey, the price of Bitcoin's hitting an all-time high or that type of thing, right? Yeah, yes, that's an important number. And I think that number, right, moving higher, meaning the price of Bitcoin moving higher, certainly is a very helpful and healthy and useful thing. That being said, the network hash rate, again, not our own internal hash rate, but rather the network hash rate, really, really has a big, it's a big deal as it relates to the math that ultimately dictates what kind of revenue Stronghold Digital Mining has the potential to be generating. And then when we look specifically at our expenses, right, like fuel, operations and maintenance, general administrative, interest expense, things that really represent, hey, we're like, proverbially speaking, cutting checks out of the checkbook, right? Not depreciation. That's not, hey, that's not costing us any cash, right? That's not burning any cash, depreciation going one way or the other. But, like fuel, operations and maintenance, general administrative, interest expense, that's all money that's leaving our checkbook, so to speak. So we're going to do some math tomorrow that kind of delves into that. As it relates to the stock price, I get that it could be demoralizing, scary, maybe even it could create a lot of uncertainty. Gosh, the stock price is sliding. My gosh, what's going on? Like maybe, there's some like news article out there that's specific to us or anything like that. No. Practically the entire sector is down today and has kind of been trading lower, as I'm sure you've noticed. I mean, I'm convinced you look at other, Bitcoin mining companies, right, beyond Stronghold Digital Mining. So you see that it's not just us, right? The entire sector has kind of been drifting lower lately. But bear in mind, as I alluded to yesterday, there are some really meaningful, truly positive catalysts that are in our future, not just our future, but really the future of the entire Bitcoin mining ecosystem. A really big one being the eventual hopeful approval, right, by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission of a spot Bitcoin ETF. Look at companies like BlackRock, Fidelity. I mean, these are top-notch firms. I mean, they're huge. They're some of the, in fact, the largest asset management companies on planet Earth. I'm inclined to believe, right, that the U.S. The U.S. SEC, right, the Securities and Exchange Commission, will ultimately approve probably not just one, but probably several of these ETFs, and to the extent the market is any indicator, which I think it is. Remember, when this news first broke that, hey, BlackRock is applying for a spot Bitcoin ETF, that's when we really started to see a nice movement upwards in a lot of Bitcoin mining stocks, right? Stronghold Digital Mining included. So I think we have that to look forward to. And in fact, there's a lot of things to look forward to specific to our company. So I am not inherently concerned about the stock price being where it's at. I'm really not. I'd be more concerned if, like everybody else, we're up 40, 50, 60% in the past week and we're down like 20%. Then I'll be like, hey, wait a minute, something's going on here that's more specific to us. What I'm seeing and what you're seeing as well, right, is just really kind of a bit of a breather. Maybe some profit taking, maybe the momentum traders are moving on to another sector for the time being, whatever the case may be. I'm personally not that concerned with the current movements in our stock price. Okay, with all of that said, let's stay positive, let's be great, and we'll definitely see each other again here tomorrow.